The Sporting News remembers the 1980s, passing heroes and passionate moments.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Wait a minute, Bill.
I can't believe that.
They did that to Thurman Munson out in Minnesota.
Fred is upset, and I can't believe that, Phil.
One of a kind and one play in a million.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win
it. Heavy hitters. And a heart-stopping finale.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. And the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw. I don't believe what I just saw.
The new generation and the news that brought down a legend.
Mr. Rose has accepted baseball's ultimate sanction, which is lifetime ineligibility.
The last chapter for a Philadelphia slugger.
The 3-0 pitch. Swing and long drive. There it is. Number 500. The career 500th home run for Michael Jack Schmidt.
Hi, I'm Jack Brickhouse. Join me as the Sporting News presents Baseball in the 80s. A panoramic look back at a decade of unparalleled popularity, prosperity, and postseason drama. Records that seemed unbreakable finally fell, and players who seemed invincible finally said goodbye. In some cases, baseball wasn't just about baseball anymore, not when it came to the decade's more compelling issues. The 1981 strike gave the decade a chilling start. On June 11th, in the first of two walkouts in the 80s, the players began a strike that lasted 50 days. It centered around compensation for free agents, and it marked the darkest episode of Commissioner Bowie Kuhn's 15-year tenure. Finally, on July 31st, the deadlock broke. The players, represented by Marvin Miller, and the owners, represented by Ray Grebe, settled. With the strike over, the season would now be split into two halves, and the winners of each half would meet in a separate series to decide the division. But the format produced an odd ending for some teams. Cincinnati won the most games in the league, but didn't win either half and missed out on a title. The Reds didn't get their reward in '81, but with salaries soaring, the players were getting theirs. In 1985, 36 players earned at least $1 million a year. And by the end of the decade, the $3 million player had arrived. Fresh from his success at the 1984 Olympics, Peter Ueberroth succeeded Bowie Kuhn as commissioner, bringing to the game his celebrated marketing expertise. If baseball was being marketed as never before, it was also more popular. Attendance reached all-time highs, and by the end of the decade, 5 teams would draw more than 3 million. And yet, as players were richer than ever, the owners were accused of trying to stop the very trend they had started. In 1987, several top-ranked free agents went unwanted. Tim Raines stayed at home until his own Expos took him back. Another issue facing Ueberroth was the reported drug use among players, some of whom ended up in jail or suspended from the game.
There's an awful lot of youngsters, millions out there that idolize ball players. If we can be the first sport to eliminate drugs as a problem, it will be a good example for youngsters and for society. It's a hard stand, but we have to take it.
Ueberroth took a far more popular stand when he reinstated Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays. They'd been banned from working in the game because of associations with gambling casinos. While Ueberroth presided over a problematic period, his successor, Bart Giamatti, walked into a crisis, and 5 months into his tenure, he banned Pete Rose.
One of the game's greatest players has engaged in a variety of acts which have stained the game, and he must now live with the consequences of those acts. By choosing not to come to a hearing before me, and by choosing not to proffer any testimony or evidence contrary to the evidence and information contained in the report of the special counsel to the commissioner, Mr. Rose has accepted baseball's ultimate sanction, which is lifetime ineligibility.
The decision, agonizing for both men, had a final postscript 2 weeks later when Giamatti died of a heart attack. Rose had fallen off the mountaintop, but 9 years earlier he marched into the decade triumphantly. His new team, the Phillies, won the World Series, and Rose was on his way to immortality. In 1981, he passed Stan Musial to become the National League's all-time hit leader, an event that brought a phone call from the White House.
Tell the president I'll be waiting in a minute.
Hello, Mr. Rose?
Yes, sir.
Mr. President's on. Go ahead, please.
Hello? Yes, sir.
Hello, Mr. Rose. One moment, please.
Hello?
One moment, sir.
Maybe the operators went on strike. Good thing there ain't a missile on the way.
Mr. Rose, one moment, please.
Okay. I waited 19 years. I can wait another minute or so. I got a recording here, I think. Yes.
If you hang up this phone, I'll call you right back.
Okay. Yes.
Who's speaking, please?
Pete Rose.
One moment, sir.
Larry, I'll give you my home number. What's that? Just a moment, please.
Hello?
Hello.
Pete Rose?
Yes, sir.
This is Ronald Reagan.
How you doing?
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you. I've had as much trouble getting this line, or a lot. I think I had to wait longer than you did to break the record.
Well, we were going to give you 5 more minutes, and that was it.
Life with the Phillies turned sweeter with another pennant in 1983. The next year, Rose moved on to the Expos and moved closer to Ty Cobb.
Rose driving the ball to right field. Extra base hit. There it is. He's on his way to second. And Pete Rose takes another big step toward baseball immortality.
Rose had now reached the 4,000 hit mark.
Well, there it is. The ball is being presented to Pete.
Later that summer, Rose went to the Reds as player-manager. He was the old Pete all over again.
Base hit. Pete Rose has a base hit. Freitas will score. The ball by Dernier. Rose is racing around second. Rose digging for third. There's that head first slide, and this crowd goes bananas. First time up back in the red uniform, flips it into an RBI. Hustle is back right here at Riverfront.
Rose's quest for Cobb picked up steam during that season, and next, on September 8, 1985, he tied Cobb, and 3 days later, passed him.
In a worldwide television audience watching these moments tonight here at Riverfront Stadium. 2-1 pitch from Schaub into left center. There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb. That's number 4,192.
Pete Rose landed on top of the mountain, the most prolific hitter in baseball history. And yet, there may never be a Pete Rose plaque in the Hall of Fame. Though Rose led the way, other hitters turned in outstanding accomplishments throughout the decade. Before Rod Carew ended his career in 1985, he became one of only 16 players to reach 3,000 hits, and the only one to do it this decade.
There's a drive to left field, base hit. There's number 3,000 for Carew.
In 1980, George Brett captivated the game with a sensational bid to become the first 400 hitter since Ted Williams. In a remarkable surge after the All-Star break, Brett hit in 30 straight games, bringing his average just above 400. And on the last day of August, he took it even higher.
And there he goes, another base hit. Brett now hitting .407, going 2 for 3 this afternoon.
It was a year where everything went right for me. The one thing I remember was how the whole country, all the baseball fans throughout the league were pulling for me. If we were in California and we're playing the Angels and the game was close, people still cheered for me when I came up to bat because they wanted to see me get a hit and enhance my chances of hitting 400. I didn't do it. I felt like I let a lot of people down, but it was a lot of fun.
Brett wound up at .390, 5 hits from 400. Wade Boggs hasn't hit that high, but he dominated the decade with a .352 average and 5 batting titles. And in 1989, he extended his own record streak when he collected 200 hits for the 7th consecutive time.
Standing ovation from the fans here at Fenway Park as Wade Boggs gets his 200th hit, and the Fenway faithful are showing their appreciation.
Choicest numbers 2 for the batting wizard of the National League, Tony Gwynn. Since 1984, he's had more hits than any other major leaguer except Boggs. He marked the decade with 4 batting titles, 3 of them in a row.
And there's another typical Tony Gwynn base hit.
Whenever you hear Tony Gwynn, the first thing you hear is hitting. And I just want to be remembered as a complete ball player, that's all.
He did all this himself by hard work, dedication to his game. He made himself the player he is, and all the honors that come by Tony Gwynn, he deserves them.
In 1984, the hitting race in the American League boiled down to 2 teammates. Dave Winfield went into the last day of the season 2 percentage points ahead of Yankee teammate Don Mattingly. But Mattingly got 4 hits and ended up at .343.
In the hole to his left and off his glove, and that's got to be a base hit. And he wins the batting crown.
Nosing out Winfield by 3 percentage points. Bob Horner's hitting stroke was in rare form on July 6, 1986. At home in Atlanta, he doused Expo pitchers with a shower of power that produced a record-tying 4 home runs.
Reardon delivers. There's a fly ball deep left center field. Right looking up. He did it. Bob Horner has become the 11th player in baseball history to hit 4 homers in 1 game.
Home run power reached an all-time high in 1987. The ball was jumping out of ballparks as never before, and hitters of all sizes were getting into the swing.
Home run, Rafael Santana.
Well, not only is he hitting the ball with more authority, I guess you have to file that away in the rapid ball category as well.
The numbers were astounding. 28 players hit at least 30 home runs. The 2 top sluggers hit 49. American League Rookie of the Year Mark McGwire and National League Most Valuable Player Andre Dawson. In the decade, MVPs came in 2s and 3s. The Phillies' Mike Schmidt monopolized the award with a record 3 MVPs, the first 2 coming back-to-back in 1980 and 81. Dale Murphy followed with consecutive honors. His second in 1983 when he made the 30 home run, 30 stolen base club, and was in the midst of a streak in which he played 740 straight games. As a shortstop, Robin Yount earned the American League MVP in 1982, and 7 years later captured the honor again, this time as an outfielder. The American League's 1988 MVP had a 2-fold plan for success: hit and run. And yet, as Jose Canseco headed for the 40-40 club, he was the last to know he'd be the first to do it.
Basically, I thought if I just stay consistent and use my ability and didn't go into any slumps, that I can make the 40-40 club. What I didn't realize is that there are no members in the 40-40 club, so I sort of just laughed at that.
He's leaning a little bit right now. He's running. There's the throw. Number 40. Jose Canseco, the first man ever in big league history to do it. And now he's getting a standing ovation from his teammates on the top of the dugout step.
Base-stealing records of all kinds fell by the wayside during the decade. The man most responsible was Rickey Henderson. Starting and ending the decade with Oakland, Henderson ran in a league all by himself, outstealing every other major leaguer and 3 times stealing 100 or more bases. His most famous steal came in Milwaukee in 1982, when he broke Lou Brock's single-season record of 118.
Getting a good size lead. He's running. A pitch out. The throw to second. He is safe at second. He's stolen 119. Rickey Henderson steals on a pitch out.
Henderson closed out the decade with 871 steals, 68 away from passing Lou Brock for the all-time record. In short order, Vince Coleman has become one tall threat. In his first 3 seasons, he stole 100 or more bases and got to 400 quicker than anyone else in history.
I have the egotistical attitude that once I give him the opportunity to reach base, then that's a reward for me to steal a base. All my life I've been a base stealer, all through college, since I've been in minor leagues, and now I'm in the major leagues, so I have no fear. And there's no predictable numbers how many bases I can steal.
From men of steel to men of iron, few players in history have matched the longevity of Steve Garvey. With the Dodgers in 1975, Garvey began a record streak in which he played every single game. The streak was still intact 8 years later in 1983 when he went to the Padres, and that April brought it to 1,018 consecutive games, breaking the National League mark held by Billy Williams. But in July of that season, Garvey collided on this play and dislocated his finger, ending the streak at 1,207 games. With even more iron in his blood, Baltimore's Cal Ripken Jr. hasn't missed a game since May of 1982. In extending his streak to 1,250 consecutive games, Ripken passed Garvey and moved into 3rd on the all-time list, behind Everett Scott and Lou Gehrig.
Well, I think part of my success is that I don't think about what I've done. I really just approach it one day at a time. That's probably the most overused statement in sports. You know, the game's accumulated just because I've gone out and taken it one day at a time. If you were out there just playing for a streak, you might not take the same precautions. You might not go about your job the same way. So I'm forced to go about it the same way and just try to play it one day at a time.
We now turn to some of the decade's most unusual events. Who could forget that famous day in here when George Brett stepped to the plate at Yankee Stadium in the 9th inning with the Royals down by a run? Goose Gossage came on in relief, and Brett cut loose.
The pitch deep to right field. Holy cow, I don't believe it. Home run for George Brett. I don't believe it. And Billy Martin now is coming out. He wants to take a look at that bat.
I get back to the dugout and everybody's shaking my hand, and I'm sitting in the dugout and someone says they're checking your bat. And I go, what are they checking it for? I don't have to cork my bat. I said, if they call me out, I'm going to kill somebody.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Wait a minute, Bill.
I can't believe that.
They did that to Thurman Munson out in Minnesota.
Brett is upset, and I can't believe that, Phil.
The umpires ruled that Brett had too much pine tar on his bat, and the home run was taken away. The inning was over, and the Yankees won. But the umps were overruled, and 3 weeks later, 1,200 fans showed up at Yankee Stadium for the completion of the game. Brett's homer made the score 5-4, but the Yankees appealed that Brett had not touched all the bases. Yes, he did, said the umps, who presented Billy Martin with a signed statement from the original umpires to prove it. The Yankees were out of luck, and the game resumed, and in 4 minutes it was over. Kansas City winning 5-4. In 1981, about 20 fans at a Pawtucket-Rochester game hung on for 32 innings and more than 8 hours until 4 a.m. when the tie game was halted. 2 months later, the longest game in professional history was completed in a swirl of commotion. The totals, 33 innings, more than 800 pitches, and the score, Pawtucket 3, Rochester 2. In 1987, Paul Molitor chalked up the longest hitting streak of the decade, 39 consecutive games, and the longest since Pete Rose.
The pitch to Molly. A swing and a base hit to right. 39 straight for Molitor.
Frank Robinson's Orioles endured a painfully embarrassing streak when they started the 1988 season with 21 consecutive losses.
No team in the American League has ever lost more consecutively than the Baltimore Orioles.
Streaking in the other direction, the 1984 Detroit Tigers opened the season with a flourish. They posted the best start in history, going 31-5, and then ran off with the division. As phenomenal as the Tigers were, so was the wave. Before the decade was out, the fad spread to every major league ballpark, until finally the tide went out. Joel Youngblood made his mark on the decade in 1982. Playing for the Mets, Youngblood singled in 2 runs. The same day he was traded to the Expos and put in the lineup that night. In his one and only time up, he singled for a day's total of 2 hits with 2 different teams in 2 different cities. Travels with Billy Martin were never dull. When he won the division with Oakland in '81, he showed up in the strangest places.
A reserve seat, please. Right.
Oh.
And I suppose you came out here just to sit in your hands.
No,
okay. Armison's up 3-1. Let's hear it.
Hey, go, Tony.
Come on, talk it up.
Out of the way, Tony.
Let's hear some chatter.
Way to watch him, Tony.
Come on.
This guy's got nothing, Tony. Make him pitch to you. That's not an arm.
Okay.
That's a noodle.
Okay.
That's a...
We'll give you a tryout.
Billy Ball. It's a different brand of baseball.
But the baseball Billy Martin loved most was Yankee baseball. Again and again.
There'll be no phone calls in the dugout?
What do you mean? That is not, no, that's not right. I'm handling the trades.
That isn't the way we say it,
I have the right to call you in the dugout anytime
That's not
I
the
want.
way it's going to be, George.
Well, you're damn right it is, and if you don't like it, you're fired.
You haven't hired me yet.
In 1988, after 74 years of day baseball, Wrigley Field got lights. It was an occasion to rival any other baseball event. But the game was rained out in the 4th inning, and the inaugural was delayed until the next night, August 9th. The rain stopped, and the Cubs beat the Mets in the first official night game at Wrigley Field. From starry nights at Wrigley Field to the decade's memorable All-Star games. On August 9, 1981, with the strike over, Cleveland's Municipal Stadium welcomed back baseball with the All-Star game. Before a record crowd of 72,000, the biggest explosion came from Gary Carter.
He faces Gary Carter. First pitch, straightaway center field. Winfield going back, near the wall, back, leaps, can't get it. Gary Carter has his 2nd home run of the night.
Carter's legs may have been rusty, but his 2 homers led the National League to its 10th consecutive win. At Comiskey Park in 1983, the All-Star Game's 50th anniversary was a slugfest that featured a first from California's Fred Lynn.
And he drives it to deep right, way back, and there it is, the first grand slam in All-Star history.
13-3 winners, the American League won for the first time in 12 years. A year later at Candlestick Park, power gave way to pitching. Fernando Valenzuela combined with Dwight Gooden on a history-making feat. Valenzuela struck out 3 straight American leaguers and then passed the torch to the youngest All-Star ever, 19-year-old Gooden. Doc matched the feat, fanning 3 American leaguers of his own for a combined total of 6 consecutive strikeouts. Pitching prevailed at the '87 All-Star Game in Oakland. In the longest deadlock in All-Star history, the game was at a standstill in the 13th inning when Montreal's Tim Raines untied it. And in extra innings, the National League made it 8 straight. In Anaheim, for the last All-Star Game of the decade, fans saw the American League end a 30-year drought by chalking up a second straight win. Most brilliant star of all was Bo Jackson, who knows a thing or two about baseball. From all-star moments to the all-out strangest and wackiest moments of the decade. Sometimes it paid to improvise, and sometimes it didn't.
He bunts a curveball, far coming off the mound. They're going to let it go, and it's going to drop dead and fair. You can't blow it foul. It's a good idea, but it doesn't work.
Right back to the mound. Good stab by Mulholland. Runs most of the throw. What? The ball stuck in his glove, and that's why he ran so far at first he couldn't get it out. And then he attempted to lob it with his glove hand, and the glove went with it. And Brenly caught them both.
Base hit right field, but they're going to have to hold Jelks at third. Going now, the ball gets away from O'Neill. He kicks it to Benzinger.
No, I do not believe it. This is the all-timer, Tommy. The absolute all-timer.
He kicked the ball to Todd Benzinger.
Another breaking ball, skied to left. And this ball is going to, it hit a bird.
You believe that?
I've never seen that.
And Webster hits it fair down the right field line and into the corner and into the Giants bullpen through the fence. The door was open. That's classic. I mean, you'll be seeing this shot for years to come. You talk about closing the barn door after the damage was done.
From human tampering to divine intervention, the decade was not without its natural disasters. In some instances, the weather did not permit anything.
And we've got a flood. Center field, we've got a geyser. Or as they said in the movie Bull Durham, we got ourselves a natural disaster.
Wow. It's like a mini tornado out there.
Well, you never know what you're going to see.
No one saw anything at Toronto's Exhibition Stadium when the fog rolled in one afternoon.
And it might be an inside the park home run. It will be. Well, it's turned into a fiasco now.
One rain delay in Boston brought out an impromptu impersonation from Rick Dempsey. With all kinds of guest celebrities taking a turn in the broadcast booth, you were never quite sure what you were going to hear.
There's a long drive to deep left field. He has a chance. Ursula get the ball, and he makes a spectacular catch.
I'm here today to turn this around, and I think with the help of the overrated and not such a big deal after all, Montreal Expos, the Cubs will triumph today. A beautiful day here at the true Wrigley Building at the corner of Clark and Addison. Starting for the Expos in left field, Casey Candel. He's no good. In right field is Mitch Webster. He's no good. At first is Andre, how would you folks at home say that name? Andre Galarraga.
You must feel at home the team is the Reds here.
Every team in Soviet Union is Reds. Leningrad Reds, Moscow Reds, Kiev Reds, all same team. It's nice, man, just came home, you know, in Soviet Union, you can't steal home, you occupy home.
You occupy home.
Very much, I agree.
You don't own it, right?
No, never. Everyone owns home.
That's right. And you occupy
and
a different
the umpires,
home.
You never say, you know, safe out.
What do you say?
No one is safe.
No
right?
one's safe.
No, as long as they have weapons, you know,
That's
they
true.
are safe.
You need a visa to be out, right?
Very much, yes. You must negotiate for that out. You know, to get out, you can't. You're not out. You must get out.
Get out.
Oh! Yes! Jesus! Oh! America! Oh! We're the country, America! Oh! Okay!
One of the most embarrassing moments of the decade belongs to Toronto's Lloyd Moseby.
There goes Moseby. Picked a good pitch to go on. Terrible throw. Moseby doesn't know where the throw is. He's going back to first base. Is he going to steal first? He steals first. Now he's going to steal second again. I've never seen it before.
We now leave the artless base runner for the sublime art of pitching. With 162 wins, Detroit's Jack Morris won more games in the decade than any other major league pitcher. And in 1984, in between two 20-win seasons, Morris no-hit the White Sox.
Got him swinging, and he has his no-hitter.
It was the first no-hitter by a Tiger in 26 years. Consistency was also the mark of Fernando Valenzuela. Coming up with the Dodgers in 1981, he had style and substance and immediate success. He became the first to win Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Award the same season. And until he hurt his shoulder in 1988, Fernando did not miss a start for 7.5 seasons. No pitcher ended the decade more gloriously than Dave Stewart. He was MVP of the 1989 World Series, capping off a 3-season total of 62 wins. All that after bouncing from team to team, searching for consistency.
He was with the Dodgers, who traded him to Texas, and then Texas released him, or traded him, I guess, to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia released him, and he was without a job, and the A's signed him to their farm team. And for whatever reason, whether it's just maturing or developing a new pitch, he came here and he started pitching well from the get-go.
After coming up with the forkball, Stewart went on a roll and won 20 games 3 years in a row.
For other people who may have taken notice of winning 20 games for 3 consecutive seasons, all it really says is that anything is possible. If you put your mind to it, you work hard enough, you do the right things, anything is possible.
Everything, it seemed, was possible for Jim Abbott. He was born without most of his right arm, but it didn't keep him from making the majors. The first one-armed major leaguer since Pete Gray played outfield in 1945.
Jimmy has shown everybody and proven to everybody that he is a major league caliber pitcher. He knows what he's doing on the mound. He knows how to set people up. He knows how to strike people out.
Amazingly enough, Abbott jumped to the majors straight from college. And despite constant distractions his rookie year, he won a respectable 12 games. Orel Hershiser gained all new respect with his 1988 record-setting feat. At San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium in September, Hershiser broke Don Drysdale's unbreakable scoreless inning record.
Once I got into the 5th or 6th inning in San Diego, the
the momentum and the atmosphere and the enthusiasm of the crowd really started to build. It came to the point like there was a no-hitter being pitched and nobody wanted to leave their seat to go get a hot dog or, you know, something to drink. And so I just wanted to get to that point in the game. I thought that would be really exciting. And then to break it was unbelievable.
On top of everything else, this was Hershiser's last game of the season. And in a game the Dodgers would eventually lose, he had to pitch 10 innings to break the record.
Unbelievable to go extra innings and give him a chance. The 1-2 pitch. Fly ball to right and a semi-check swing. Gonzalez, the record. Oral Hershiser, 59 consecutive innings, scoreless. The all-time record.
In 1986, Roger Clemens blazed a new strikeout trail with this.
The crowd again on its feet at Fenway Park in Boston as Roger Clemens checks in with Gedman and reads the sign. Here's the right-hander's windup. Here's the pitch. Strike three! Roger Clemens has broken the Major League record for strikeouts in one game. He has struck out 20.
The decade also had its moments of pitching perfection. In 1981, Len Barker entered the record books with a flawless performance against the Blue Jays.
Fly ball center field. Manning coming on. He's there. He catches it. Len Barker has pitched the no-hitter. A perfect game for Len Barker. He has made baseball history here tonight.
Well, I had good control of everything. I was throwing mainly fastballs and curveballs and threw a lot of curveballs. And after a while, they were swinging at everything.
Mike Witt was perfect on the last day of the 1984 season.
Bouncing ball to second. He's got to do it. A perfect game for Mike Witt. Mike Witt pitches a perfect game for California.
4 years later, in 1988, Cincinnati's Tom Browning punctuated a brilliant season with this gem against the Dodgers.
He is ready for the 2-2 to Woodson, and here it comes. And it is swung out and missed. And Tom Browning has pitched a perfect game. 27 outs in a row, and he is being mobbed by his teammates on this Friday night, September the 16th, 1988.
Mike Scott had a date with history in 1986 when he clinched the Astros division flag with a no-hitter.
Swing and a bouncer. This could be it. Davis runs to the bag. Game is over. No-hitter. Astros win the championship. What a way to do it.
That year, Joe Cowley escaped a world of trouble to make history.
Ground ball to short. Could be two. Cowley has a no-hitter. Joe Cowley has pitched a no-hitter.
It wasn't exactly smooth going. Cowley walked 7 and gave up a run. No pitcher had tougher luck than Dave Stieb. In 1988, twice in a row, he came within one strike of a no-hitter.
A swing and a bouncer to second. Big hop over the head of Lee into right center. It took a bad hop. It went over Manny Lee's head into right center for a base hit.
6 days later, he lost it on a bloop single. If that wasn't hard enough to take, Steve missed out again in 1989. This time he retired 26 Yankees in a row before getting burned by Roberto Kelly. 1 out from a perfect game.
Holy cow, he broke it up with 2 outs, and he's going for second. He's going to make it. I don't believe it. Unbelievable.
Now, shades of glory for the new 300-game winners. Tom Seaver made his mark with the Mets, winning 3 Cy Young Awards. In 1985, he came to Yankee Stadium to notch his 300th win. Long gone from the Mets, but a New York hero still.
And it's a high fly ball. It should be playable. Nichols is moving over. Nichols is there. The ball game is over. Seaver has won 300. He has become the 17th man in the history of baseball
In 1986, 21 years and 6 teams after Don Sutton broke in with the Dodgers, he won number 300.
He's 1 strike away from 300 victories. He went around and it's over.
What Gaylord Perry threw was anybody's guess, but in playing with 8 different teams, he got results. He won Cy Young awards in both leagues, finished 4th all-time in strikeouts, and at the age of 43, won his 300th.
Gaylord Perry 1 out away from 300. The 2-1 pitch to Randolph. Swung on, ground ball to Cruz. Picture good. He's got it. It's over. Gaylord has 300.
Steve Carlton won a record 4 Cy Young awards, his last one coming 10 years after his first. It was in this game against his former Cardinals in 1984 that Lefty won his 300th just before turning 40. Phil Niekro signed on to the 300 Victory Club on the last day of the 1987 season. Still knuckling at the age of 46, Niekro became the oldest pitcher to do it.
That's it! Holy cow, what a win ending! A strikeout gets his 300th career win, and I tell you, this is really an exciting moment.
From starters to stoppers, and ace numbers from the bullpen. Jeff Reardon started the decade with the Mets as a brand new reliever. Within 2 years, he moved to Montreal and was on his way. He became the first reliever to compile 40 saves in each league. In 1987, he helped the Twins win a World Series, and with 264 saves in the decade, moved into 4th all-time. Dave Righetti wheeled into the Yankee bullpen with choice results, 25 or more saves 6 straight times, and in 1986, an all-time record 46.
Popped up into shallow center. Righetti should get the record. Randolph has got it, and the game is over. The Yankees have won. All of the Yankees coming out of the dugout, congratulating Dave Righetti on his 46th save as he sets a new saves record.
Life before the bullpen was sweetest in 1983 when Righetti set off July 4th fireworks.
40,000 plus people standing and roaring, and Righetti trying to get by. And he gets it! A no-hitter! A no-hitter! A no-hitter for Dave Righetti! How about that? He got the no-hitter!
No pitcher has thrown more no-hitters than Nolan Ryan. With this one in 1981, he blew past Sandy Koufax.
Trying to get another one today, and he has Baker standing in his way. 2 balls and no strikes to Baker, and a ground ball to third. He has got it, Art. How? He got it! Nolan Ryan! No-hitter number 5. The first man ever to pitch 5 career no-hitters.
4 years later, Ryan became baseball's all-time strikeout king when he reached number 4,000.
1 more would be 4,000. This crowd is getting up all the way around. They want it now. 4,000!
But nowhere near the end for the phenomenal pitcher who was throwing as hard at the age of 42 as he was at 22.
No doubt your legs play a big role in pitching, and if you have a leg problem, then it's just, well, you have an arm problem because you can't pitch without your legs being strong.
Whatever the method, Ryan kept firing away, and on August 22nd, 1989, reached the unreachable.
This is the 3rd full count in a row for Ryan. Here's the payoff pitch. He struck him out swinging. Strikeout number 5,000 is history for Nolan Ryan.
Consider now plays of solid gold. Talk of defense usually begins with the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith. With 10 gold gloves in the decade, Ozzie kept the ground around short pretty well covered. Starting in the land of Oz, we present outstanding plays of the 80s.
Good chance for Mitchell, and he makes a bare-handed catch.
In my entire life, I've never seen that happen.
From the decade's greatest plays to greatest playoff and World Series endings. In a decade of unparalleled opportunity, more teams than ever won their divisions. Where the 1970s produced 14 different division winners, the 80s had 21. Getting their first taste of the playoffs in 1980, the Houston Astros squared off against the Phillies in one of baseball's most dramatic playoffs. 4 of the 5 games were decided in extra innings. The turning point for the Phillies came in the 10th inning of Game 4 when Pete Rose barreled into Bruce Bochy with the game-winning run.
Digging around third. He's going to keep right on going. Here's the play at the plate. He scores! He knocked Bochy over.
The decisive Game 5 was a seesaw battle that ended when Gary Maddox delivered a 10th inning hit to win it. And the Phillies were pennant winners for the first time in 30 years.
Phillies win the pennant. The Phillies have won the pennant.
Carrying their momentum into the World Series against the Kansas City Royals, the Phillies couldn't be beaten.
It's popped up. Boone, Rose, they'll have a play. Boone dropped it and Rose caught it. Rose was right there. It popped out of his glove and Rose made the play.
I'm watching the ball and it hit Bobby's glove. Unfortunately, he was catching it right, caught it like this and hit his glove right here and come down, and I had time to catch the ball. It was just a matter of being involved in the game.
It took 6 games for the Phillies to dispose of the Royals and win their first World Series in the team's 97 years. In the 81 playoffs, the Dodgers struck a fatal blow to the Expos in Game 5. Starter Steve Rogers came out in the 9th, up with 2 outs, and the score tied Rick Monday.
Here's the 3-1 pitch, and it's swung on, fly ball, center field. Dawson going back onto the warning track. Dawson at the wall. That ball is a home run.
The Dodgers came back in the playoffs and came back again to beat the Yankees in the World Series. The 82 series matched Milwaukee power against Cardinal speed and defense. Rookie Willie McGee had the speed, the defense, and a fair measure of unexpected power. He hit only 4 homers in the regular season, but smacked 2 in the series. St. Louis out-hit and out-pitched Milwaukee, and in Game 7, Bruce Sutter wrapped up the Cardinals' first World Championship in 15 years. In 1984, the Cubs made the most of their first postseason series in 4 decades. They clobbered the Padres with 13 runs in the opener and went up 2 games to none. San Diego came back with a win, but the series took a sudden about-face in Game 4 with a bottom-of-the-ninth blast from Steve Garvey.
Deep right field, way back, Cutter going back to the wall. It's gone! Home run Garvey, and there will be tomorrow.
Garvey's homer turned the playoffs around as the Padres went on to win their first pennant and take on the Detroit Tigers in the World Series. But this was the year of the Tiger, and in Game 5, Kirk Gibson could not be tamed. He came up in the 8th with 2 on, and Detroit up by a run. Dick Williams called for a walk with first base open, but Goose Gossage questioned the strategy.
He's looking over here at you.
I've already given him 4 balls.
He called him in.
He told him 4. He's coming out. I can't believe he changes his mind. I can't believe it.
But Gossage was convinced he could get Gibson out.
I've had good success.
You want the infield in on him?
No.
No. Halfway? Where you going? I mean, I've got to cut out. I got to cut. You mean you're talking about striking him out?
Yeah.
He don't want to walk you. Yeah, he don't want to walk you.
A decision that cost the Padres dearly.
And there it goes!
And so ended the Tigers' championship season. In 1985, playoff hero Ozzie Smith created a tumult in St. Louis. In Game 5, the Dodgers and Cardinals were tied in the last of the ninth until Tom Niedenfuer got a jolt from Smith, who rarely hit home runs and had never hit one left-handed.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard. Go crazy.
Ozzie's home run sent the playoff series to Los Angeles for Game 6. There, the Cardinals rocked reliever Tom Niedenfuer with another ninth-inning blow. Jack Clark up with 2 on and 2 out, and one last chance for the Cards.
Niedenfuer ready, the pitch. A drive to left field, and Jack Clark has hit a 3-run homer.
And the Cardinals sailed into the World Series against the Kansas City Royals. It was an all-Missouri World Series, and it was full of controversy in Game 6. In the bottom of the ninth, St. Louis was up 1-0 when Royals manager Dick Hauser sent a pinch hitter, George Orta.
Little squibber to the right side. Worrell races over to cover. The throw doesn't get him.
To the outrage of the Cardinals, umpire Don Denkinger called Orta safe, and the Royals were still alive. Moments later, Dane Orge came off the bench with the bases loaded and brought down the house.
And that's a looper hitting the right field for a base hit. Here comes Sunburn. Here's the throw. He scores. We go to a 7.
A miracle finish for the Royals. They won Game 7 and were world champs for the first time. In 1986, there was nothing but drama. The Mets and Astros capped their playoff series with a 16-inning thriller in Houston. The Astros took a 3-0 lead into the ninth when the Mets rallied to tie it. In the 14th, New York took the lead, but lost it moments later.
Payoff delivery at a high fly, deep to left, down the line. It may go foul, waiting. It hits the screen. Tie ball game, home run.
On and on it went. In the 16th inning, the Mets scored 3 runs. The Astros came back with 2 in their half of the inning, but finally ran out of steam.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. The Mets have won it. They're in the World Series.
A rival drama was being played out in Anaheim, where the Angels went into the ninth up 5-2, and the pennant all but theirs. The Red Sox cut the lead to 1. Donnie Moore came on with 2 outs and 2 on, and Dave Henderson up. The count went to 2-2, and then 1 strike away from elimination.
Pitch. There's a fly ball to left field. Downing is going back. It's gone. It is gone. Dave Henderson has homered, and the Boston Red Sox have taken the lead.
Even the drama of the playoffs would not compare to Game 6 of the World Series. With the score tied, Dave Henderson turned hero again when he led off the 10th inning with a blow that crushed the Mets.
And a drive to left. Going back on it is Mookie Wilson, and this one is gone. Henderson has done it again.
The Red Sox increased their lead to 5-3, and the Mets looked finished. But down to their last strike, they rallied for a run, and then came the unbelievable.
And it's going to go to the backstop. Here comes Mitchell to score the tying run, and Ray Knight is at second base.
At that point, a big relief is on me now. I mean, I can't lose. There's nothing I can do to lose anymore. When I came to the plate, we were losing, and now I'm still at the plate, and all of a sudden we're tied. I can't lose now, no matter what I do. So I just want to make contact.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
The Mets never came back to earth. They rallied past the Red Sox in Game 7 and won the World Series. In the '88 World Series, fate was on the side of the Dodgers, and Kirk Gibson was on the far side of a miracle when he hobbled the bat in Game 1, last of the ninth, last chance for L.A.
You know, you have to change yourself to the given situation, and I had all game to think about it, and I really didn't think I was going to play, but knew that if the kind of situation came up that did, that I would be ready, and I prepared myself to step in. So, I mean, I was locked in, and everything that I had programmed myself for seemed to be falling in place, and I was very confident that and I could see myself doing the job.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone!
Gibson's home run lifted the Dodgers to a most improbable win and set the tone for the next 4 games as L.A. went from underdog to champion. Gibson shocked the Oakland A's, and the red-hot Oral Hershiser took the life out of their celebrated offense, beating them twice.
Got him. They've done it. Like the 1969 Mets. It's the impossible dream revisited.
In the '89 playoffs, the Giants' Will Clark was a haunting sight to the Cubs. In Game 1, he killed them with clout, a grand slam homer. Then in the decisive Game 5, he shortened his stroke and unlocked a 1-1 eighth-inning tie.
Line drive, base hit. In comes one. In comes Butler. Going to third is Thompson. 3-1, San Francisco.
Moments later, the Giants won the pennant. The 1989 Oakland A's had a surefire method for beating the Blue Jays: let Ricky run. In the 5 games, Ricky Henderson stole a record 8 bases, scored 8 runs, and beat the Blue Jays with power.
Mosby going back, looking up, out of here and into the black seats. About a 430-foot shot to dead center field.
And the A's rolled on to meet the Giants in the much ballyhooed Bay Area World Series. The Bay Bridge divided San Francisco and Oakland and came to symbolize the World Series, which was full of great expectation. But the A's were full of power and pitching, and Dave Stewart was invincible, beating the Giants twice. And in redeeming their '88 performance against the Dodgers, the A's swept the Giants. But as it turned out, baseball played only a part in the World Series. Just before the start of Game 3, Candlestick Park was getting a pregame workout. Having replaced his longtime friend Bart Giamatti, Fay Vincent was in the midst of his first World Series as commissioner. Then it happened. At 5:04, the earthquake struck, and everything turned upside down.
Down, everything's down. Relax, we're down.
I can't believe that.
We're knocked off the air, we're out. There's no lights in the pool, everything's out.
Unbelievable. I can't believe that. Just can't believe it.
Somebody's trying to shake us up. All right, Lord, I heard you.
6.9. 6.9. That's a major Bay Bridge collapse.
Then we saw the pipes inside here shut. Then the lights and the TV went off. We knew something was wrong. After all, we're in California, and the famous one of all time was here in 1906.
Outside the ballpark, the quake left a trail of destruction. Besides the Bay Bridge, there was a fire in San Francisco's residential marina district and a mile-long collapse of Interstate 80. Playing baseball was out of the question.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are postponing the game because there is no power in the stadium. We would like you to leave in an orderly way. I don't believe there's any great danger. but we have no idea when the power is going to be on, and we have to get people out of here before it gets dark.
Oh, that was about the big shake.
The cement floor
the
went
big
up
shake
and
of
down.
the quake. Yeah, the cement floor went, the lights went.
Lights swayed.
Woo!
And I thought it was party time.
We thought it was all over.
Our concerns, despite this rather large gathering, our issue is really a modest one in light of the great tragedy that's hit this area. We are not going to be able to play baseball in either of these communities before next Tuesday.
In fact, it would be 10 days before the series resumed, and when it did, there was much more than baseball to rejoice about. Now, a salute to the Sporting News Player of the Decade. Mike Schmidt hit more home runs in the 1980s than any other major leaguer. He greeted the decade with his first MVP. When it counted most, Schmidt delivered. When the 1980 season came down to a final series in Montreal, the Phillies had to win 2. With homers in the first 2 games, Schmidt saw to it that they did.
Long drive to left field. He buried it. He buried it way back. Out of here. Home run. Mike Schmidt puts the Phillies up 6-4. Oh, what a drive by Schmidt. Unbelievable. He hit that thing deep to the seats in left field. Mike clasps his hands. He shakes hands with all of them.
The Phillies carried their momentum through the playoffs, and in beating the Kansas City Royals for the World Championship, got an MVP performance from Schmidt.
I just did a lot of little things. I was involved in everything. Starting a rally, finishing a rally off, scoring a winning run, making a good play, hitting in every game safely. There was some question as to whether or not I had the best World Series, but I was given the prize of MVP. That was a great honor.
The next season, Schmidt was at his best. Despite a strike-shortened 102 games, he collected 31 homers and 91 RBIs and won his second straight MVP. But if his bat was invaluable, his glove was equally priceless. Earning 6 Gold Gloves in the decade, Schmidt brought his career total to 10, an achievement unmatched by any other National League third baseman.
If there was any fun on the field, for me, it was the great play defensively, making the great play and talking about it the next day. And the home run to me was always all right, let's get around the bases and get back in the dugout. We don't want to show anybody up. But making a great play, at least, even times I could sense that the other dugout was, was going, that was a good one.
In 1985, Schmidt struggled in the first half, and for the first time in 7 years, he did not make the All-Star team. But one at-bat against the Mets cured the slump.
Dwight Gooden was the pitcher. I told myself that I'm going to take my bat, hold it high in the strike zone, and I'm going to swing down. I'm going to actually try to hit the ball on the ground in front of home plate. And he threw me a fastball out over the plate, and I went boom like that and tried to just pow, bring it back down on the ground, and I hit it off the scoreboard in right center. Now that swing was good enough for me. I stayed with that approach and changed from a low fastball hitter to a high fastball hitter in one at-bat. I took that second half, that approach to hitting, right on into the 1986 season and won my 3rd MVP award.
And, as always, the home runs kept on coming. With 37 that season, Schmidt was drawing even closer to 500, a milestone reached by only 13 others. It finally came on April 18th, 1987, in Pittsburgh. And it was much more than anyone expected, as it brought the Phillies a 9th-inning victory.
I couldn't think of a better script for this thing, but darn it if that isn't the worst thing that can happen to you as a baseball player when everything is just right. Those moments come so few and far between.
The 3-0 pitch. Swing and long drive. There it is. Number 500.
knew as soon as I hit it, it was a home run. And that allowed me to react emotionally. I didn't plan that. It was not choreographed. But I was so happy because the hit created the possibility of being a game winner, a 3-run game-winning home run in the 9th inning.
Though Schmidt brought his home run total to 548, he was slowing up. At the age of 39, there was no quick cure this time and no other choice for a Hall of Famer who did not want to play part-time.
I had a couple of plays defensively that helped to trigger this thing. I wasn't doing too well offensively. Our team was losing. They had to play me because I was me. But I wasn't performing well, but they had to play me because I was me, and I was hitting 549 and 550 and da-da-da-da-da, and that was a big focus on our team. And I just decided to relieve that burden of trying to be Mike Schmidt.
I feel like I could easily ask the Phillies to make me a part-time player and hang around for a couple of years to add to my statistical totals. However, my respect for the game, my teammates, and the fans won't allow me to do that. For these reasons, I've decided to retire as an active player.
Michael Jack Schmidt, the greatest home run hitting third baseman of all time. While a great player made his exit, a host of bright young stars made their rise in the decade. Ken Griffey Jr. joined his father in the Major League ranks as he took his place alongside other stars of the 80s. Eric Davis, Brett Saberhagen, Kirby Puckett, Tim Raines, Dwight Gooden, and George Bell. But as the decade brought new stars, it parted company with the heroes just past. Thanks for the memories, fellas. This is Jack Brickhouse.
McCovey with a double and a run batted in.
Clear start to the 262. Hits a drive into right center field. It is extremely deep, and you may have some chicken on the hill with Will.
I might not have had the greatest ability in the world, but I got the most out of it.
There it is. Cruz going back, and it's gone.
And Gaylord Perry becomes the 15th man in baseball history to win 300 games.
Home run, Joe Morgan. And the Giants lead the Dodgers 5-2.
Money games, nothing new to Jim Palmer. In Game 2 of the '66 series, he appeared in his first big money game and shut out the Dodgers as a 20-year-old right-hander.
Steve Garvey in the 9th inning hit one over the 370 mark, and the Padres beat the Cubs 7-2. There it goes, home run number 500.
There's a drive to left field, base hit. There's number 3,000 for Carew.
And you are going to hear some ovation when Phil Negro leaves this mound. They're starting already.
Now, let's just sit back and you listen to this.
Say thank you in my own very special way. And if you know me, how much I love pitching, you know what it means to me.
Baseball is a field of dreams, and this surely is heaven down here.